What is up, guys? Welcome back to the weekly GWRLD podcast. We have somehow survived 8 episodes. This is my second time doing the intro because I really messed up the first time. But each and every week we break down gaming, streaming, esports stories, and I always have to ask Hunter how he's doing to start off the episode, of course.
We're doing good. I think we're doing all right today. Granted, like you said, it is our second take because the first one just felt a little bit too perfect. So I feel like we just had to tone it down a little bit. I do definitely want to say again that we are recording this a little bit early, a few days earlier than normal. So if any news happens in between today, Monday, and Thursday, we probably won't talk about it because this is filmed in advance as we are going to Korea tomorrow.
Yeah, it's going to be madness. Me and Hunter are coming from Germany at a CS event, and then now going to Korea for a different event. Thanks to you guys for watching. Every week, we're trying to get the podcast out at least on time. We've been trying to be consistent with that, and we usually get some comments from long-term viewers on the podcast as opposed to daily videos. Speaking of which, we read those comments every single episode. I think some of you guys might enjoy this part, because I do. We have a comment from Honey Fungus. He said, I accidentally clicked this. I don't like you anymore after your clickbait headlines and your cancel culture BS.
Accidentally? What happened? I don't understand. He just jumped in front of his mouse. I mean,
it must have been a good thumbnail.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know. I feel like a lot of times we get those comments about clickbait, but most of the time they're pretty accurate to whatever is happening. I mean, maybe sometimes they lean a little strong, but I feel like we try to stay away from clickbait, so it feels bad a little bit.
Yeah, plus on YouTube nowadays, everyone clickbaits, so it's kind of it's tough. Also, I don't know who we've been canceling recently, aside from the conversation. I don't even have to mention names. I don't think we've ever really fully canceled somebody, but I feel like certain people get a depiction in their head and they don't actually watch the videos. Like last week, we talked about Summit. We talked about Shroud hating on Call of Duty. It wasn't like hard-hitting topics, but it was fun topics. Last comment from Debo said, I don't know why you guys barely show up in my feed, but I'm subbed with all the notifications on. And we, of course, appreciate a nice comment every now and again. But as per usual, after comments, let's lock and load into some of the topics out there. Call of Duty has been a hot topic. We've talked a lot about Shroud's take on this, which was somewhat controversial. Now we have Tfue, who returned last week for the first time in 12 months to a game like Fortnite, had not streamed in almost half a year. And his first stream back, or one of the first streams back, Hunter, he says Call of Duty is effing trash.
He's not a gamer anymore. I don't know what to say. I think he just... he's going to call Fortnite trash soon, and then he's going to go away again. It's just going to happen.
To give you more context, too, he was actually streaming. He came back for a big Fortnite event, and then his chat was like, yo, play BO6. And he was like, hey, what do I do on BO6? And his chat was like, play Nuketown. And then he goes off on a rant like, Nuketown? Why would I play Call of Duty to play a map that I was playing a decade ago? And then he did lightly call out Fortnite because he was dropping into Tilted for the 7th year straight while he did that. But my counter to that was Fortnite's free. Call of Duty gets you back every year, and then they bring back the good maps when everyone hates the regular maps.
Yeah, true. I just still don't have a problem. I think we talked about this last podcast. I don't have a problem with reusing things that are good. Like whether it's like people like Tilted Towers for a reason. It was good. It was fun. It's fun to land there. People like playing Nuketown for a reason. I think you have a good point, though. You're not spending $70 probably to drop in Tilted.
Some are.
The counter to that, I guess, would be the fact that you probably spent more money on Fortnite than you have on Call of Duty in the long term. So who's really
what? I think that's actually a terrible counter argument, but I'm going to let that one go to the chat and see what they think on Tfue calling Call of Duty effing trash, especially because it's just them trying to get him to play Nuketown in 2024. What do you guys think about that? Some huge news out there breaking as of us recording, which is definitely us pocket watching, but I just thought it was so freaking nuts. Nadeshot accidentally leaked his Twitch revenue for the month. If you guys don't know, he's been on a crazy subathon. At one point or another, he was close to top 5 most sub streamers on Twitch, and day in and day out, been sleeping on stream, been doing all of that, and we knew he was going to do well. Like, the Call of Duty community always shows up, and they give their guys a lot of support. I think he's now broken, during the time of the subathon, he's lost subs because it's been going on for a while, but he's broken 40,000 subs. So his leaked revenue, Hunter, for the month, not even a full month, $238,000. Can you kill me?
Dude, that's so insane.
Disgusting.
Like, yeah, we've seen this. Isn't he like the number 5 spot, by the way?
He's bouncing back and forth.
I mean, that should just give you insight to like how much people are making in general. Granted, he's in a subathon, right? We know he's making a lot. He's farming a lot. I wanted to look at what we could see breaking down some of those numbers beneath it, paid subs being 20K out of that, Prime subs being 16K, gifted 117K.
That community's crazy. So I would imagine the difference is ads. The difference is probably ad revenue then?
Yeah, after that, it has to be ads. I mean, it says
probably
he's played
ads.
It says he's played 2 days and 10 hours worth of ad breaks.
Wait, what? Homie's on max ads.
At the top. So 47,000 subs and 2 days and 10 hours of ads with almost 400 hours streamed.
Dude's doing ads 10% of the time.
Oh, so it says 8 minutes and 47 seconds of ad time per hour.
He's doing over 10% ads. That's crazy. I mean, good for him. We'd be doing the same thing, but that's crazy. That's like an NFL broadcast type ish. That's actually probably way better than NFL.
And then the last thing, and this is something I noted to you, which I feel like I was just confused by. I didn't realize people still have 70-30 splits. It must be like legacy things for just like important people.
Yeah, I think he had to work for it. You have to get to a certain number of subs. And you have to, I think, try and apply through Twitch because he went through a battle. He was like talking with Twitch. When he first returned, he was 50-50 for a while. And I think you have to get to a certain degree of either viewership or subs where then you get a partner manager dedicated and you can actually kind of use some leverage. Interesting.
Okay. Yeah, I just saw that for their tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 subs and the fact that he had 70-30 on everything. So that's pretty great.
Insane.
Yeah, it's pretty insane. And I mean, I guess props to old man for coming back as a full-time streamer and crushing it. I mean, you finally shared that clip of Haley that I told you it was going to go viral, and it did well. She's been doing her 25 days of Call of Duty. They're like hitting it from all sides, as Nadeshot would say. Literally, he's been off the rails. I feel like just every moment. I feel like every time we see a clip of him, he's saying something sexual, which take it as you will. But the amount of stuff I've heard about Nade and Haley's sex life in the past, however many days of the Subathon has been insane.
Yeah, they've been very open about that. But I guess if you're making $250,000 a month just off of what we see on stream, maybe you'd let loose a little bit, Hunter. Maybe we'd say some things we wouldn't say normally because we're not making that or anywhere close to it. But yeah, in case people don't know the background, Nadeshot's wife, Haley, like you said, kind of a content duo. They're kind of becoming like a content duo, like really farming this up every single day since Call of Duty releases. She's been given a new gift on stream and then recently gave him like a double pack of giant Zins, which went obviously viral. So they're doing a great job farming together.
Just so you know, today she gave him a cookie cake that said whatever his chat says. I think it's T2G, which is time to goon, is what that stands for. And she gave him a giant cookie cake that said T2G on it. So just like really playing into it pretty well. Yeah, smart. I mean, they're cut great. Like she's talking to the camera and talking about the gift, and then it cuts to the stream clip. So people are, and you see in the comments, people are like, man, I see these after I've seen them happen on stream. And like people are looking forward to seeing it now. So it's doing really well. I mean, like you said, I can't imagine just being able to like lock in for a month and make 3 years of our life. He's definitely making over 300K here. Just lock in for 1 month and you can make that much money. Like just buy a house outright and be fine. It's impressive, and I can't say I'm not jealous.
Yeah, and Hunter is definitely locating himself over in the Carolinas, but still, I mean, that's a house in a lot of places. Iowa born here, would agree with you as well. Speaking of crazy subathons, a little transition really quickly as well. If people ever see me get up and walk away, I'm checking my camera because I have OCD and I just want to make sure I'm still recording. But speaking of other subathons out there, one of the few people in front of Nadeshot by a long shot is Cenat. Just over a week into his subathon, has already broken 300,000 subs. If you want to talk about if he wants to leak his Twitch revenue at all, you just let me know. If he's playing 8.5-minute ads, that dude is going to be set for a generation to come.
Yeah, and he's got tons of partners. I actually read a post today from the guy who does McDonald's partnerships. Did you see that?
No.
So they recently obviously partnered with Kai for the chicken double Big Mac or whatever it was. And the post was talking about how Kai recently, they worked with Kai to do the John Cena and the iCarly stuff, and now they're also helping fund the Serena Williams, which is coming on for the subathon. What
as of us recording, it's today.
Yeah, and so that happening today, that McDonald's is also helping support. I mean, dude is in his era right now, that's for sure. I mean, I think advertisers love to partner with them, which makes sense because he has a incredible amount of engagement and like notoriety. People across generations know him at this point. He's at an unreal level right now.
Yeah, dude, I there was a point where I sat down and watched some Twitch streams one night, and almost every ad that I watched was featuring Kai. Like whether it was for some cell phone company or some insurance thing or some wireless thing or McDonald's, he was on just so many different ads, which is like, oh, get your bag, obviously, but also the creativity he brings because he can feature some other big names. And he just doesn't do your regular ads that you've seen other streamers do, right? They put on the headset and say, thanks to so-and-so. But he's out there like shooting these borderline commercials. And then, of course, if Kai's eating McDonald's on stream in front of 300,000 people, that's a tremendous pull for them too. So already breaking 300,000 subs. It's incredible. He's going to smash the Twitch record, and he has probably around 3 weeks at the point of you guys watching or listening to this still left. So now it's just a matter of how much can he break it by, and will he be not only the first ever to reach 350,000, 400,000, but some people are asking, like, can he break 500,000 subs? Like, which I think it's possible. Like, it's certainly possible, especially if he gets the ball rolling.
Yeah, he's obviously making a ton of money no matter what, but I also respect the amount of obvious reinvesting he's doing with his stream. Like, he's got to be paying a lot of people. You saw that his production room?
No, I didn't actually.
Oh, there's a clip. I think I don't remember who he recently showed, but he recently showed someone the production room for the Subathon, and it's insane. It's like the sheer amount of production going into this thing is like on another level, and so you know that he is, like I said, he's just reinvesting a lot, which a lot of streamers kind of try to, I feel like, stay away from, just in the sense of it's obviously risky. Like, if you're not doing well and you're reinvesting a lot and not like riding a wave, then you're just gonna lose money. But like, he has been riding that wave so well, it's just impressive.
Yeah, also a partner, of course, with AMP's help too, going to be taking a good portion of all of their sub money and Subathon revenue and building schools too. So doing a great job, like you said, redistributing and putting money and time back in. It's going to be a long time before we see someone else like him reach these kind of levels. But it might also, Hunter, be a long time before we see another successful MMO. Now you know where I'm going with this one. Some kind of bigger news out there, especially if you guys are MMO fans. Might be a little niche for maybe just us nerds. But it was actually Andrew Gower. He is the co-founder / creator of RuneScape, what me and Hunter would agree is the best MMO of all time. And at least one of them, by all accounts out there, at least one of them. And he has now released recently his own MMO called Brighter Shores, which was met with mixed feedback, but nonetheless one of the newer MMOs we have seen in recent history at least do decent numbers, and a good portion of the RuneScape community has certainly taken notice.
People can't say that RuneScape isn't one of the best. I think RuneScape and WoW are easily the top two MMOs of all time. I would say. I think it's hard for anyone to argue. Back in the day, you would ask people which one you still ask people which one did you play when you were a kid, because you're either RuneScape or World of Warcraft. So that out of the way, I would also say my opinion, I don't think it's been that mixed, dude. I think people haven't liked it very much.
Yeah, I think it has come down to a very diehard niche portion of the MMO scene. People who have also really enjoyed RuneScape and are sick of maybe RuneScape 3, which I think there is a void to fill when you have a dying game like RuneScape 3, and old school is still moving strong, and it has certainly become the dominant RuneScape title. It is old school all the way now with how they've been running things and player count wise, I believe. So I guess there's that void of like, there's no other MMOs out there that there are plenty, but when it comes to dominant ones, you can't really name too many. So I think a lot of people are thirsty for something to fill that void and become the next big one. I do think, though, with it being Andrew, that there's going to be a lot of community feedback that is noted and is acted on. And so if you want to be an early mover of this MMO, there's probably a big draw for people out there who have 12 hours a day to sink into a game, and they know that Andrew's probably going to respond. I think he certainly serves a good audience out there that could keep this game alive.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like, the Gower name holds a special place for a lot of people just because of RuneScape, so people are going to have faith in it. I just think at this point in a lot of gamers' lives, including my own, like, I don't have the time to invest into a game that sucks right now, but might be good in 4 years. You know,
that's fair.
And that, granted, at the same time, of course, I'm bringing this up. I'm playing Deadlock that's early access, and they're changing stuff every single week. So, like, maybe there is a world where this, like, early development type of things are okay, and that's the move. But I played the game. I played the tutorial, and it was not fun. I didn't have fun playing it. Maybe it's just a sign of the times. I'll still play old school every once in a while. I'll still play RS3 every once in a while. I have more fun on that because I feel like it's probably a nostalgic thing, and I'm going back and building on an account that I've owned for years. But right now, it just felt very similar to the graphics and vibe of RS3, but it just didn't feel like engaging. I just started doing it, and I was like, man, why am I doing this? Like, what is the point of this? Like, there's jobs that you have. Like, the skills are jobs, basically. Like, fishing is a job. And you go from town to town to train different jobs. I don't know. It just was not my personal vibe, I would say. At this moment, I am holding out hope for Ashes of Creation, like a lot of people, and I hope that's the next MMO, at least for...
When does that one come out?
Just give me a year. I don't know. I'm not sure when the date is. People have already been playing it for a while, like early release builds and like stuff like that, but they're supposed to have a really big release at some point. I'm not informed enough to know when. I just know it's been in development for a very long time, and people have been excited about it for a long time. I just need a year's worth of content from an MMO, and I'll be happy enough.
Yeah, and I was right there with you. I enjoyed watching some of the Brighter Source stuff, but even then I was like, this just doesn't feel like it for me. And I think when it could be nostalgia kind of blurring my vision, but back when I first played RuneScape, I fell in love right away. I was addicted right away, and I feel like you can generally get a pretty good footing of like for New World. When New World came out, I loved it, but then they ruined it for themselves. So I actually really enjoyed New World. This one, I didn't. So I just don't think it's going to be the one for me, but could it develop into something more stable? Hopefully. And
it was just dragging on, right? Like, I don't know.
It looked so tedious.
Yeah, even like just the fact that, and some people would love this, but for me, the fact that you guys just sit there and go through all this dialogue that takes like forever to go through everything, and you got to run over to this person to go through all this dialogue just to run back to this person, and that is part of RuneScape and what RuneScape was, back and forth, but the dialogue just felt extra slow to me.
Even the building of the map, like the blocky map build, I didn't like that either.
Yeah, so it just feels like a little, it's like it was dated, but not at the same time. Like, it feels new, but it also felt dated at the same time.
I agree.
It was a hard mix to swallow, is what I was gonna say.
What the heck? All right, the next one I got was actually an article by TechCrunch, and they were talking to a Call of Duty hacker. I thought this was very interesting. It's pretty brief, but this was actually corresponded to the Call of Duty exploit that they admitted to weeks ago now, where apparently they had allowed some players out there to exploit their anti-cheat and give out false permanent bans. We've talked about this with people like Parasite, Warzone streamers like Bobby Poff, who were issued these bans, and then their bans were reverted and accounts handed back. And so this notorious hacker, I believe his name is Virus, does this interview. And to sum it up for you, he pretty much just says, I could have done this for years if I hadn't chosen to do this with such popular names and streamers in the space.
Did he say why he did it to popular names?
No, just for fun.
Okay, I guess that a guy who names himself Virus, it like checks out a little bit. So what he was doing, was he selling these cheats in any capacity?
No, he was just able to. I mean, he doesn't go into great detail. They never really do. But because it was an official website, like I know the guy that referred him to the website, the middleman that referred him to the website to do this interview. And so I presume it is pretty legit. You never know exactly what to take with their words, but just kind of boils down to did it for fun, could have done it more, and had exploited their system. So like if he hadn't, he literally chose out people like Bobby. And if he had just chose randoms, he could have, I think he could have done this to thousands of people.
Right. And maybe he did. I feel like, people just get too ahead of themselves, man. He was chasing success too hard. He should have just stuck with banning the dudes he got upset with in game instead of Bobby Poff. But I guess
really hated Parasite, man.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess shout out Call of Duty because they never would have known then, apparently. According to Virus, that he could have been doing this forever. I think it's just insane and goes to show this day and age of gaming where you just never know with like what is going on in games because so many people have different exploits, like who is running what. Like it's totally valid almost to look at people and say, you killed me, you're probably hacking. I feel validated now at this point. I don't know, dude. It's ridiculous.
Great. We're sounding like the dads on TikTok now, man. But like, yeah, I think right now in 2024, we've never had as little faith in games and anti-cheats and security than we've ever had in our lifetime, right? Like because of this whole Warzone era. And now, like a lot of the Warzone era has been pretty crazy. Everyone has been accused. Okay, let's be honest. Every streamer, every player, every creator has been accused, and many of them have been falsely accused. But what's happened lately has offered more validation than that area will ever get when you have an anti-cheat that doesn't work or is open for exploits. And then you look at a game like Apex. I mean, a couple weeks ago, we had a dude who was just hand operating 5 cheaters, just soloing against other streamers in game. Like, you have dudes out there who are sitting down to play a game of Apex and can somehow control 5 aim hackers at once and all drop into the same lobby. How is that possible for people to do?
Yeah, is there still, and maybe this is a question for the audience, because I don't know if you will know, not to any slide at you just because I don't think we know this information, but are people still against kernel level anti-cheats? Like, is there a reason?
Yes, they are.
Really?
Yes.
Like, why?
You know Pirate Software?
Yeah.
He obviously was huge, especially during the Imperial HAL. I can't remember the hacker's name because I'm blanking right now, but we covered him a lot. No, it was not Tfue. It was after Tfue. It was the guy who took control of Imperial HAL and Jen Burton's accounts during ALGS. Destroyer 2009. Thank you, Hunter. Love your memory. He just going around and doing that stuff. Pirate Software, I believe he's also known to be heavy against kernel level. And I don't know the exact specifics, but I think a lot of it just becomes down to security purposes of you're really opening yourself up. Now, we've seen with Valorant, though, in a recent report, I know we're really diving into this, but it's a video I haven't released yet, but there was a recent report done by a bunch of dudes over, I believe, from the UK, a very official report where they were actually listing the rankings of the best anti-cheats in gaming, and Valorant was number 1, and it was not close, and it was because it was kernel level.
Right.
Now, I'm sure there's plenty of these data guys that don't like kernel level, and I would assume they have rightful reasons to not like it, but for someone like me, do I care anymore? I personally don't, but I don't blame others who do.
And obviously this is ignorance, but what does it mean when it's saying like security? Like, what do they have access to and why do I care? Like, what is Riot Games using? They're not going to take my banking information and steal money from me. Like, if that happened, we would know, and Riot Games would be in some kind of class action lawsuit. Like, I'm not afraid of them taking all my money or like data somehow. So, why? Like, what's gonna happen? Like, the worst that I don't know. It just
this is what we should be asking them, because we're gonna sound like idiots, just like we do when we talk politics. Maybe someone in the comments can let us know. But like, maybe even comes down to if there's kernel level in the anti-cheat, and then you do somehow have hackers who hack the system. Do they have a deeper? Do they somehow have a deeper level of access to your PC then? Vicariously, I don't know. So maybe we should ask Pirate Software before we go down that pirate hole.
That sounds like something a hacker would say, Jake. Oh no, don't put kernel level on your PC, because then the hackers will have a better chance at taking your stuff if you put kernel level on it. So keep it not kernel level, please.
Okay, so what side am I on? I don't know. But either way, crazy with the anti-cheats going on, and we're going to see stories like this continue to develop, and I'm sure hackers are going to get better and better, and maybe we'll see kernel level take off. I'm very surprised with Valorant. They've just done pretty well with it, I think, handling the backlash initially, and then obviously showcasing that it's been a very proper anti-cheat. If other devs will follow suit eventually and really take on kernel.
Well, I have another question for you, and I know you were trying to end the topic there, but a follow-up that I've seen, especially as Deadlock's been developed and they've been talking about anti-cheat and adding it in. What is the history? Why are people upset with VAC? And like, why people seem to say that Valve's anti-cheat has not been successful in the past, and like a lot of people were like, please don't put VAC into Deadlock because it wasn't effective or something like that.
Yeah. So again, I don't know extraordinary details, but pretty much when you look at Counter-Strike and VAC, they don't have an anti-cheat. Valve's anti-cheat is not even an anti-cheat. You can ask other security team people this. Like, it is the worst anti-cheat in gaming. This is reported. And it was recently the study that I'm referring to, which I'm going to make a video on soon, but it's very well done. I believe done by 4 separate professors. I passed this through a couple guys like GamerDoc, and they said the information is like very well done. And Counter-Strike was a worse anti-cheat than Warzone and Call of Duty's Ricochet. So that's why people don't trust it, because it can't stop pretty much anything. And that's why you still see cheaters in CS every single day.
That was gonna be my follow-up. Is there a ton of cheating going on in Dota and CS?
I don't know about Dota, but CS for sure has its ebbs and flows. I mean, they're always, that's ironic, they're always vacuuming people, but it's only who they can really catch. But if you go on CS Twitter or TikTok, cheaters every day, especially when you get to higher ranks. And that is also part of the reason why a lot of people don't even play CS ranked. They'll go to third-party platforms.
Yeah, I guess that's fair. I remember seeing pros tweet about it every once in a while, about cheaters and ranked in games. So I guess that makes sense. But okay, that's all I got.
Yeah. Well, speaking of games that have a lot of cheaters that, maybe someone's not playing anymore. We talked about Nickmercs last week, leaving Call of Duty, and now he's also left Kick after a $10 million deal. We're talking about big bucks, huh? He has now left Kick. He is going back to Twitch. He might experiment with multi-streaming in the future, and pretty much when it came down to a quote on his move, leaving Kick and going back to Twitch, he says, hey guys, this is business, and Twitch is the best platform for me and my audience to be. I have a lot of thanks to go out to Kick. We achieved a lot over there, and he still will be gambling on Kick, but when it comes to most of his streams, it will be on Twitch, which I think makes for sure 100 the most sense.
Yeah, but then the follow-up question, of course, is he gonna keep streaming on Kick once the gambling deal runs out?
I don't know if there's be any reason, but I don't think there's any reason for his gambling contract to end. If you have one of the biggest gamers who's been gambling, but he has been bouncing, I think, from gambling partner to gambling partner, which again, I got no fault for people who do that. I mean, you got to get your bag. But I don't think he'll be ending gambling anytime soon if he's going to keep it up even while multi-streaming on Twitch. I think it's worth his time to gamble.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, he's set up as well here. I mean, now he's got the best of both worlds. He can go on Twitch where the viewership, the subscribers are, people who are gifting subs, prime subs, as we have seen. Kick does not have, they cannot compete in terms of actual real viewership and chatters and engagement, and I think advertisers know that as well. People aren't paying for Kick streams the same way they're going to be paying for Twitch streams. So I think it makes sense for him to go back to Twitch, and then now he gets to have his home on Kick where he can go and take his gambling deals, and people know when he's live there he's gambling. So he's got the best of both worlds at this point.
I never understood the Kick strategy though, because he was already going live on Twitch to begin with. He's got the best of both worlds for the last 2 years.
Yeah, except
he returned to Twitch, and he already had 9,000 subs there because he's already been streaming on Twitch.
Yeah, that's true. It is an interesting announcement when you've been there the whole time. I guess now he's just not going to be trying to move people over, and that was the Kick strategy, right? Is go live on Twitch and then move them over to Kick, as we saw. I mean, Train getting banned even this past week for doing that exact thing, and so
Twitch is so dumb, dude.
Yeah, I mean, it's confusing, I guess, to make an announcement out of it, but also maybe opens the doors for platform conversations. It seems like it's running out, but this is not something new, too. We've seen this with so many streamers now, leaving Kick once their deals runs out.
Yeah, and I really do. I'm curious what the future of Kick is going to be. We've seen them move on from a lot of categories, a lot of different areas of streamers. They still do pretty well internationally, and they have some very surprising signings that they hold their own on viewership when they have their big people on. But when it comes to a plan of and they are growing, but when it comes to a plan of attack for keeping streamers on, maybe they don't, maybe we're misjudging this. Maybe they just need the little guys and the middle tier people to get on and get the KCIP program, and maybe that's enough because it is a great program. But when it comes to maintaining these larger names who just want bags, I think we're really moving on from that era because Kick is maybe making the right call of not offering Nick $5 to $10 million a year, because if he wants Kick sub revenue, he's going to have to actually stream on Kick.
Yeah, I think I would agree that if they're ever going to make it, they being Kick, it's going to be up to those streamers, more or less. You're not going to get it by having Nick and XQC and Neon and Aiden on your platform. It's going to be the small to medium guys making a ton of content while streaming on Kick, and then you getting lucky. And when they explode and they're on Kick then gets bigger. So, like, you're going to find someone like a Jinxie who is diving into a ton of streaming and putting a ton of content on TikTok, and then they blow up on TikTok, and, oh, where can I watch this person? It's on Kick. By default, Kick grows because of people like that.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be their only chance at growing, because right now I feel like it's just steadily declined, and it feels really just bluntly like degenerate at this point, which is great for some people and it's fine, but also doesn't feel like the path to growth, in my opinion. So we'll see where it goes.
I think they're in a tough boat too, because like when it comes to a streamer growing, nobody is using just their streaming platform to grow. Like there's not anybody that's just starting on Twitch, maybe a few here and there, that blow up just by using Twitch. Like Jinxie used TikTok, and he obviously is an incredible streamer, but without TikTok, I think it would have been a lot longer for him to get there where he was on Twitch. So can someone just use Kick to get famous? No, it's gonna be pretty difficult. Just like someone can't use Twitch. So it really depends if they can use these other content platforms and they somehow choose green over purple. So I don't know. But I do still enjoy Kick being in there. We enjoy talking to those guys. I think they have an interesting strategy, and I think they got a lot of questions still to answer. And but vice versa, Twitch has a lot of questions to answer too. We talked about all of their difficulties as of late. So Twitch is in no sure thing gonna be a thing in 5 years. So I think there's still gonna be a battle for some time ongoing. You mentioned something though, unless you had something to say on Kick versus Twitch.
No, go for it.
Train. Really quick story here. Train actually was banned by Twitch during his Rust event, which was kind of just a weird ban in itself. He was supposedly, we have a clip out there of him showing his ban as well and talking about this. He was banned for promoting his Kick stream on his Twitch stream. Within about 5 hours, he was unbanned because people realized this is about the dumbest thing you can actually ban someone for. I just don't. Twitch automated bans, their ban team has to be so small at this point to think they could get away with any Train and not get called out for it. But especially for me, like when you're supposed to be pro multi-streaming and then you limit the way people multi-stream, I've never understood if that's going to be a thing. Like, hey guys, you can come stream on Twitch and multi-stream, but we're going to try and tell you how to promote other streams.
Yeah, didn't they though? Wasn't that part of the update where
there was at first.
Yeah, they said that yes, you can multi-stream. I didn't know if it got rolled back or not, but you can't combine your chats and you can't promote other streams. Like you can't try to divert people from Twitch to the other websites, but you can be on the other websites.
According to some responses, apparently that was just like enacted in the last week or so. Which even if it was or wasn't, I think that's a stupid rule. Like, you can't control what people link in their own chat.
Yeah, I mean, they can because it's on their service ultimately.
I mean they clearly can, right? But like, but that defeats like the whole like, oh, go multi-stream, but like do it by our rules.
But it's still their service, so ultimately, like they can do that if they want to.
Yes. And, do I like it? No.
Right, it is a little silly, but also for the entire strategy of people like Train to get Kick to grow, we just talked about this. I think it's silly for that to be the strategy of go watch me now on Kick. I think the majority of people are just going to stop watching once their Twitch stream ends. I do also think it's a little bit interesting. I don't know, that's the nicest way I can put it. That for Train to do these activations in like these big streams like this, that he's going live on Twitch to do them
because it's the Rust drops, right? So like they have to like the Rust Twitch drops are going to do way better on Twitch. They're not a thing on Kick, so he has to do them on Twitch. But I get what you're saying. Like it does feel weird.
Especially I just mean like as someone who is a obviously like a co-owner of Kick, I feel like I would love to just hear his thoughts on like the fact that he's having to do it on Twitch, and like obviously he still values Twitch even if he wants to speak out against it. I mean, I think Train has a healthy respect for Twitch, but also a very deep maybe hatred for some of the streamers on there and some of the ways that Twitch has acted based on how we've heard him talk about things in the past. So it's just crazy that he, going live on there, and like you said, to your point, Twitch should have known they were going to get some backlash banning him for that kind of thing.
Yeah, it's got to be a weird day where you got to balance like your biggest relevance is on Twitch. Mm-hmm. I mean, he's actually, I don't know about that. part of your relevance is still tied to Twitch.
Right.
And so you have to constantly balance of like, I got to go live on Twitch so I can keep on pushing, what I am a co-owner of over at Kick. So definitely interesting for him. Last stories for all of you guys out there. We have some news from NetEase, the developers behind Marvel Studios, other games as well. I think this was a pretty big headline that at the end of the day is not going to impact the games underneath, but we have some NetEase executives that are now allegedly going under fire for maybe money laundering, which the amount out there is over $100 million. I can't imagine being an executive at a very well-known company and trying to money launder afterwards, but made some headlines for sure.
I have money laundered about the same amount from our company so far. So Jake has no idea what's going on in our company.
You could.
But all jokes aside, that is insane. The balls these dudes have to do something like that. Like, how nervous would you be? Like, I don't even know, I guess because we're not criminals, but like, I don't even know how you do that to begin with. But I feel like
I know how to start.
I would be so nervous doing hundreds of millions. Like, someone's going to notice.
Yeah, I don't know if this does kind of be true. There's got to be a cutoff point. Like, you break the $1 million mark, you got to be like, we're dipping into like federal crime, like not even just federal. We're gonna dip into some big crimes here. Like this, if we get caught, we're gonna be doing time, right? So there's allegedly other employees that are maybe wrapped up into this, but 2 executives were actually named. You have to imagine it goes a bit deeper than that when you come to $139 million. Like maybe you're coercing a few people below that to be like, hey man, like we're gonna be making tens of millions, but you could be a millionaire. Just don't tell anyone. And maybe it's the accountant or whatever, some guy. And God, I just can't imagine how nervous you would be after you see the headline. You're like, oh frick, they know.
Wait, you think that's how they found out about it?
No, it's a joke. It's a joke.
Yeah, for sure. They must be doing a little bit of intimidation to people beneath them or bribery. I've been watching. I started Yellowstone recently, so I'm imagining a little
series.
A little bit of that Dutton energy. And we're only like 4 episodes in, but just a little bit of those threats there. Yeah, I've loved it so far. But my question to you, and I'm sure this will end things, the podcast, is: do you think they were taking that $100 million and putting it into Bitcoin?
Hey, you know what's crazy? Here's the question. If they had taken, let's just round it down. I think it's like 139. Let's just round it down to $100 million. If they had done this properly and just put it all in Bitcoin, they probably could pay off all of the fines coming their way. Yeah, and then some.
They could just
say, then be okay.
Hey, just take the $100 million back, and we're fine. We're cool, right, guys?
And we're good.
and
and you can fire me.
Yeah, and then they'll keep the $50 million. Honestly, that's not a bad plan for money laundering. Is take it, invest it, then put it back.
Try and make money with it.
Yeah, and no one would have known. And like you just happened to accidentally put that $100 million into your personal Bitcoin account. It grew to $150 million. Put the $100 million back. No one knows the difference.
Yeah, that's really smart, man. What's crazier is this has probably been going on for years, so they probably would have maybe quadrupled the money, actually, not just even 50%. But regardless, don't money launder, guys. You probably will get caught and make headlines out there. We hope you guys all enjoy this episode of GWRLD Podcast, episode number 8. Me and Hunter are now on our way to Korea. Thanks to all of you guys who have been listening. Gonna have some great content over there. It's gonna be a really fun time. And then we go to frickin' Sweden. So we might as well be dead now because I'm already tired.
Yeah, it's going to be a wild adventure. We'll see how Korea goes. Like we said last time, I'm going to make Jake try some crazy food. We are also going to be talking to people who don't speak English, some K-pop stars out there, which should be interesting. Maybe we'll get Jake to do some K-pop dances. So some good content coming your way.
We'll see you guys back here next week. Take care, y'all.
Bye.